Hey, welcome back. This week I made another half-lap dovetail table, but this time I put a multicoloured logo on the tabletop. This was a request from a friend, so all you worrywarts out there can cool your jets. This is not something I'm going to sell to a bunch of people. It's okay, honest. Here I'm cutting a stretcher and an upright. The half-laps get cut to half depth of the material, and the final shape is cut out to full depth. I repeat this cut with another stretcher, an upright and a piece of ash. Arranging the parts this way minimises material waste. To avoid multiple bit changes, I designed these parts to use the same 1/4" compression bit for all cuts. Running the router at 80 inches per minute with an 1/8 of an inch depth of cut gives me nice, clean cut lines. Now I cut the 2 remaining uprights in the 3rd piece of ash. Hopefully this pop-up answers most of your what sizes, what speeds, what have you got there, how do you do it questions. Now that all the base parts have been cut, we can start putting them together. I added just a small amount of glue in the dovetail sockets and pushed the stretcher into the joint. I used a clamp to fully seat the stretcher flush with the upright. I repeat that process with the second set of parts. Again, some clamp persuasion does the trick. The dovetails give a nice tight fit and there is no need to keep them clamped while the glue dries overnight. Now I move on to the tabletop. With the underside facing up, I cut 4 pockets which will be aligned with the base uprights. Then I cut out the tabletop shape, 15 inches by 15 inches square, to full depth of the ash board. Again, I'm running at 80 inches per minute with a 1/8 of an inch depth of cut to give clean edges. Since the FC Barcelona logo has 7 different colours, I need to cut and fill in stages to avoid colours mixing and bleeding into each other. For each stage in the logo, I start with a 15-degree V-bit to give good clean corner edges. I will be cutting the logo to a depth of 0.2 inches, which is plenty to give good, clear, rich colours in each part of the logo. Here I use a 1/8 inch end mill to clear out the remaining material in the red and burgundy sections of the logo. I can do these 2 colours at the same time because they do not sit next to each other, so I don't have to worry about the resin mixing. For these V-bit and end mill cuts, I have slowed the router down to 60 inches per minute because chip out here would be difficult to hide and repair. Hopefully you can see the nice clean edges on every pocket in the logo. With these 2 sections cut, I could fill them with resin. I start with the red section, making sure I fill the pockets to the top and then add just a little bit more because resin tends to shrink as it dries. I repeat the same process with the burgundy stripes in the lower part of the logo. "24 hours later and the resin is cool enough that it's safe to cut the next 2 colours. Here I cut the yellow and blue sections of the logo, repeating the same V-bit cut first, followed by the 1/8 of an inch end mill to clear out the pocket. I get nice clean lines where the bits cut into the previous day's resin colours. Now I can fill the yellow stripes next to the dry red resin. I use a small craft syringe to limit waste and mess. The blue resin can come straight out of the jug. A blast with a heat gun helps get any remaining bubbles out. Another 24 hours later and I can cut the white section of the logo. Again, we are cutting up against another colour, but I get nice clean lines. I add the white resin to the logo, filling the pockets, then a hot blast gets rid of any bubbles. And another 24 hours later I cut the gold section of the logo. My anxiety is starting to rise because I'm now cutting up against every other colour in the logo. A slip here could mean tears before bedtime. A second pass in the gold section clears out the remaining material and I see nothing but good clean pocket edges. Gold resin to various parts of the logo. Unfortunately, I don't have enough resin here and I have to go get a top-up jar. My estimation skills are not where they should be. Now I'm into the home straight. These are the last cuts to clear out all the black elements of the logo. This is a complicated cut up against most of the logo colours. Again, I used the 15-degree V-bit for the outlines and fine detail before transitioning to the 1/8 inch end mill clearance path. The last cuts are followed by the last resin colour. I use another syringe to put black into the logo. This forms surrounding borders and details in the leathers and the football symbol. One last blast of the heat gun to get the bubbles out and I will give the resin 48 hours to cure before the next stage. As an added extra, I'm going to add a lower shelf to the table. I want it to sit securely on the lower stretchers, so I make another square but cut the corners so it fills the space and won't fall out. This is essentially the same routine, with the 15-degree V-bit doing all the detail lines and an 1/8 of an inch end mill clearing out the path in the middle. In the lower shelf there are 3 elements. First I add yellow resin to the letter. I add burgundy resin to the outside border, followed by blue resin and the inside border. Now the resin has cured enough that I can take the top surface off, removing all the excess resin to flatten out the logo. I work my way up through the grits from 80 to 120 to 150 to 220, upwards and upwards and upwards, all the way up to 2000 grit sandpaper to get a nice, flat, polished surface on the resin. Next I use a microfiber cloth with mineral oil and soak that into every surface of each part, making sure they're all coloured. The mineral oil makes the grain stand out and it also protects the wood. I cover every surface of every part and let it dry over the next few hours. The 7 colours of the logo also stand out when the oil is applied. I run through a very similar process, but this time with wood conditioner. That is a mix of mineral oil and beeswax. I again let this soak into the wood to bring out the grain, the resin colours, but this also adds another level of protection for the wood. Here we have the finished table put together. We have half-lap dovetail joints. We have a lower shelf with team colours. And the tabletop logo is bright and clear. I hope you like this table as much as I do. It was fun to make, but I won't be repeating this lengthy process anytime soon. Please tickle that like button and gently cup the subscribe button. I thank you.